Welcome to True Crime Unleashed. I have a very sinking feeling that this entire plea deal with Bryan was done out of fear. It was rushed, especially with what I was reading in one of the documents. A female came forward on 11/14/2024. On Monday, November 11th, 2024, I was notified via an email from Sergeant Gunderson that a woman named, is redacted out, HH, had called Whitcomb with information relating to this case. More specifically, she alleged she could exonerate Kohberger. I apparently is Brett Payne because it's redacted out. Hung hung up with the dispatch prior to them gathering further information. The call notes were as follows. Caller is advising that she is trying to reach the attorney for Bryan Kohberger. She was a mandated reporter slash victim advocate and is advising that she has information that would prove his innocence. She sent the attorneys a letter on to reach someone that can confirm they are representing Kohberger. Attorney Ann Taylor Law Offices. I called redacted when I returned to duty on November 14th, 2024. I advised her of who I was and asked if she could relate the information she claimed to have. She told me she sent a letter to Ann Taylor's office with the information and would not disclose what she knew to me. I advised her it was my obligation to learn of possible exculpatory evidence. She told me she had never met Kohberger or spoken to him, but she knew he was not the person who committed the murders. I attempted to explain why it was important for me to know of the murders. Know of the information. She said, but, redacted, would only tell me to do a FOIA request so she can learn her so you can learn my maiden name. She also stated if I did so, the FBI would immediately contact me. I asked her if she was if she had contacted the FBI, to which she replied she had not, but they would know as soon as I searched her name. Then she said she did not want any further involvement and hung up on me. Based on the inability of or unwillingness to offer any information to substantiate or investigate it further, there is no further avenue to proceed. Reference this call. Okay, what that sounds like to me is a witness came forward that had exculpatory evidence, who was a victim advocate, and let's see who she was on the phone with. Brett Payne. Brett Payne, in his incompetence, scared away a witness that could have exonerated Bryan. By constantly pushing at her, wanting to know what she knew, and trying to get her to tell him. So she just ended up saying she did not want any further involvement, and she hung up on him. So, did the MPD scare away a potential witness? Did Brett Payne scare away a potential witness that could have proved Bryan's innocence? It sounds like it. It really does. It sounds like him being pushy, him being pushy the way he was, trying to get her to give him the information. But she didn't want to give him the information. She wanted to give it to Ann Taylor. Sorry, daughter's refusing to go to bed. This could have been the key to the case of proving Bryan's innocence, and Brett Payne chased it off. He chased it off. And why? Because they wanted to hang everything on Bryan. They did. They wanted to hang everything on Bryan. It's shameful. And this lady was a mandated reporter. So being a mandated reporter, she was very credible. She would have been a credible witness. But she did not want to relay any information to Brett Payne. And why not? Well, for one, he's incompetent, and for two, I believe Brett Payne is corrupt. And just like on the 16th of September of last year, Monday, September 16th, 2024, I spoke to was an inmate in Latah County Jail. At the time, had been housed next to Kohberger since August of 2024 until Kohberger's transport to Ada County in September. I was made aware by Detective Vargas that Redacted spoke about Kohberger while on a phone call with his mother. I responded to the Latah County Jail and spoke to Redacted. I began by asking what he thought of Kohberger having had to live next to him. Told me Kohberger was highly intelligent and polite for the most part. Told me Kohberger would often question him about his past criminal offenses and why he was in the maximum security wing of the jail. I asked what he thought of Kohberger's intelligence and stated Kohberger was the smartest person he had encountered while in confinement. They want to say that he is this horrific murderer. He killed 4 people. But you have this jail inmate that was housed with him said he was intelligent and polite. That doesn't sound like a homicidal maniac to me. Told me Kohberger quickly became annoying because of some of his habits. He told me Kohberger would wash his hands dozens of times each day and would spend 45 minutes to an hour in the shower. I asked if Kohberger slept at night. He told me Kohberger would be awake almost all night and would only take a nap during the day. Said he could hear Kohberger moving around all night, which is also annoying. I asked if Kohberger ever lost his temper. He told me on one occasion Kohberger was video chatting with his mother, which he said he did not, which he said he did for hours each day while Blank was watching sports. Inmate said "you suck" to one of the players on the team, which point Kohberger immediately got up and put his face to the bars and aggressively asked if he was talking about him or his mother. Said this was the only time Kohberger lost his temper. I asked if Kohberger had mentioned anything about the crimes he was charged with. Said Kohberger did not mention his alleged offenses at all. Also told me Kohberger was excited to move to Ada County, stated he had served time in Ada, and noted he did not think Kohberger would like to be there. I thanked Redacted for speaking with me and advised him to notify the Latah County detention deputies if he remembered anything else he wished to tell me. Okay, this is coming from a jail inmate who was in the same pod as Bryan in Latah County. They were actually next door to each other. He lost his temper one time because he thought the person watching the sports or football game, whatever it was, said "you suck." So Kohberger thought he was talking about him or his mother. Personally, I would, if someone yelled "you suck" and I didn't have the context of it, I didn't know they were watching sports. I would get mad too if someone said "you suck" and I thought they were talking about my mother. So the way this inmate is talking, Kohberger didn't come off as a threat at all. He had the one flash of anger, and that was it. And he stayed up all night. He took naps during the day. He was very intelligent, very polite, and he was the smartest person he's ever met that he was in confinement with. So where do they get off that he's a homicidal maniac? I'd like to know that. Where they get off this guy's a homicidal maniac. If he's being polite to the people he's in jail with. That's something that boggles my mind. You have the judge of this case saying that he finds no redeeming qualities in Bryan when he's sentencing him. But yet you have this inmate saying that he was very intelligent and polite. Isn't being intelligent a redeeming quality? Isn't being polite a redeeming quality? This just makes me wonder why he even took the plea to begin with. That honestly, it does. Was he scared into taking the plea? Possibly. a very good possibility he was scared into taking the plea. He should have never taken the plea. No, he should have never taken the plea. With what this inmate is saying, Bryan doesn't come off as violent. He comes off as very intelligent and polite. And then the document I read before, somebody who was a victim's advocate called and a mandated reporter called in a tip to let them know she had evidence that Bryan didn't do it. So after getting badgered by Brett Payne, she finally stated she did not want any further involvement and hung up on him. So Brett Payne chased a very credible witness away. Oh, well, we can't have this person coming in as a mandated reporter and having evidence that Bryan didn't do it. So I'm just going to badger her and badger her and badger her until she doesn't want to give me the tip and doesn't want to have anything to do with the case. Cover up much? Frame job maybe? Who knows? But I hope you guys have a good night. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button and hit that bell notification. Make sure it's clicked to all for all my new content, my deep dives, and my rants. This is True Crime Unleashed. I'm out, guys. Peace.